speakers here tonight, it just seems to me that if this organization that is does not really have water rights in the CEMEX family wants to just basically take the water and not return any of it to us and not provide any protection, to me it seems like, doesn't it violate our constitutional rights? It just seems like some kind of really basic violation that really seems like a very completely legitimate basis for a lawsuit.
Yes, we all feel that way.
Is that not the case?
That is the case.
That's exactly.
That is the case.
I used to be shocked about the CEMEX and wondering how could that be happening this day and age. Well, that was a simple one, and I'm now, as you are saying, I can't believe this. This is even worse than that. So yes. Does anyone want to say anything about that other than to confirm you are right? Your gut is telling you the exact right thing.
Kathy, I can
just
add
a comment on Tom Moore, President, Marina Coast Water District Board of Directors. I think we would all collectively, perhaps even CalAm, want to avoid litigation, at least I should hope so, because if we go into this litigation, there will probably be something like 40 to 60 attorneys working for a dozen or 2 dozen other clients. The litigation will last 4 to 10 years, probably. It will cost a horrendous amount of money. Marina Coast is already into litigation with CalAm and the county who sued us in the past to the tune of multiple millions of dollars, unfortunately coming out of our ratepayers' pockets. And CalAm just recently sent us a demand for $1.8 million, which translates into about 25 to 30 bucks out of the pocket of every single person who receives service from Marina Coast Water District in Marina and the Ord community. So we really don't want to go there, and we're trying hard to be regional and not go there.
But the advantage is, though, that it would stall the project. If it stalled it for 10 years, at least that would be one.
The problem is that we don't have any water, and CalAm, or
Well, what I can tell you is, your exact point is we have very basic rights that are guaranteed to us. And what the City of Marina is doing with our legal team, with the briefs that we'll be filing and everything that we're doing, is we're going to be doing everything within our power to guarantee that our rights are protected. And if that means that we have to go to court, then we will go to court. But we are doing everything within our power to guarantee exactly what you said.
And I think the point that someone made over here is that we don't have water, and I'm assuming you're from the peninsula. And I thought you were from the peninsula because we don't want to have that fear mongering that the peninsula won't have water. Keith has told us that there are absolutely options available that include even MCWD helping out in that situation. So we need to balance that perspective and not, buy into, oh my gosh, we have to get off the Carmel River and there is no other options. There are. Yes?
Well, I was just wondering, the whole thing is this CPCN.
Yes.
Is a certificate of public convenience and necessity.
Yes. It's a
now, if it's not necessary to do this whole thing.
Yes.
Okay. What is going on now in terms of settlement? Because I think that would be far better, from CalAm's perspective, because the litigation is such a waste.
Yes.
I think the attorneys, somebody's getting bad advice if they're going forward to litigate this, because it's a tremendous waste. And I was just wondering what's going on in terms of settlement, because this could be settled.
Do either of you two want to address that? There's two tracks, okay? There's this environmental impact report that we're talking about now, and then there are these other legal proceedings called evidentiary hearings, and then they're two parallel tracks, and both of them are very complex. But would you like to say anything about that?
I think that everybody is still, there are multiple parties in this action. CalAm is the project proponent, City of Marina is a party in the action, MCWD is a party in the action. Your organization is a party, what's the
Yeah.
name?
Public Trust Alliance.
Public Trust, George's organization is a party, Just Water is a party. All of us are trying to very much avoid the cost of litigation. And all of us have had discussions. We formally set up some settlement discussion process that we tried to pursue, and CalAm was at those also, to try to come up with a settlement that's regional, that addresses the issues. Everybody in this litigation, everybody that's parties to the action has one objective, and we all agree on one objective. The peninsula needs water. The second objective we're asking everybody to buy into is the peninsula needs water, but not at the harm of someone else. And we're trying to come up with settlements that meet both those dual objectives. If the CPUC, which is on a completely different track, they're not part of any of this settlement, they don't give a darn about settlement. What they do is they follow the process that they have an applicant with a project standing in front of it, asking for approval. That's why this PR campaign, that's why the solicitation from you to say, please slow down, please look at the local interest. You represent, you are supposed to protect our local interest, is so vital and so important. That is slowing the CPUC down to do what Mr. Vandermotten has just said. Let's go to the California State Water Resources Control Board and look at questions that are bigger, like water rights. If the CPUC says this project goes forward, all the 21 parties are aggrieved. All the other 20 of us have some grievance. And it starts a timeline that we have no ability to do anything but to appeal, to go to court, to follow legal procedures. And if that project goes forward, the CPUC, as you've been told tonight, doesn't have any jurisdiction to decide water rights. So they're just skimming over that. We don't need to look at that. We're just approving a project. So the venue for my city, as the city manager is trying to say to you, the venue that I have as a city, the venue that each of you as public members of our public, regardless of where you live, the venue for that is in a court, which requires attorneys. But what we're all concerned about too is that we filed that lawsuit, but in the meantime, CalAm's going down the path of getting permits, doing the projects, moving along, and at some point, we've all seen these cases where there's so much money invested in a project that nobody, no court, no commission wants to stop it. So what we're trying to talk about tonight is that this comment period in the final EIR is a place for all of us to insert our voice, that you've heard so many messages, and I'm so happy to hear all of you reciting those messages back to us as presenters. You get it. But you need to put it in writing. You need to put it into that phone call. You need to have the CPUC hear you to enable settlement, if the other 20 of us can come up with something, to have time to have that happen. We all have a role, and we're asking you to act on your role and join us and help us to get to those time to make those settlements.
Thank you, and I think that's why we have more. You can say them wrong, but if you want us to, Melody, we'll go for another 5 minutes.
I'm really curious about the State Water Resources Control Board issue. Like, can't you get to them soon enough for them to go to the CPUC and say, don't do this?
They have represented, we apparently there's communications with them by multiple parties, and they're indicating their schedule is so heavily impacted. So, but you have CalAm on the super train saying we need to move forward, this has been lingering. But the other thing is, going back to Kathy's point is, and Keith's point is, there is water to give people. There will be adequate water. PG, Pacific Grove, Carmel, Monterey, there's water to give them that if this takes us 10 years to figure it out, they will turn on their spigot and water will come out for the next 10 years. We've addressed that. We all know that's there. We all can work collectively to provide that water. And the other thing is, in the next 10 years, what's the change in the science? What's the change in the technology? When you actually have a need for this project, there might be completely new methods of getting the water.
So what you're saying is the state board is too busy to do their job right now? This is kind of crazy.
No, the
I mean,
chair of the state board, I've been up there in Sacramento and Felicia, and she says, what are they doing down in Monterey?
Why don't they find out?
Well, the thing is,
Yeah, I think
that there is a
Overwhelmed.
tremendous political pressure on these boards, and nobody wants to do it. And essentially, this has been going on not just 2 years, but for 50 years.
Was there,
Yeah.
Michael?
So, first of all, I just want to commend every speaker, who were all very inspiring. I'm grateful for the video, it's 90 minutes. Can the State Water Board watch that? Can the PUC watch that?
Cal was watching it.
What happened? No, I mean, like to inform the decision makers, this information today was awesome. And so, that video, guys, is gold.
West,
And then just going back to litigation, I don't know if anybody in the room knows the answer to this question. Does Cal-Am bear the risk? If they go to litigation and spend tens of millions of dollars trying to win, doesn't that pass through to the ratepayers? Do the shareholders bear any risk? So there's no reason for them to fear litigation like everybody else in the room.
Right.
Right?
Susan?
A quick question. Because the State Water Board can make the decisions that may help in this situation, should the public be contacting the State Water Board?
That's very much the campaigning that we're asking you to do.
So we should not just call the CPUC and write to them, we should be writing to the State Water Board as
First
well.
things first. Yeah, I got an April
Yes.
19th.
Right,
PUC.
But we should also be
But
contacting.
you can send them out on the exact same day.
Right, I just want to be
You
sure,
can be a
because if
hero.
those people are the
Yes.
ones that need to move on this and aren't, then we should put some pressure on them
Susan?
to do so.
On our
Right.
C4 Just Water side, we had a letter campaign that sort of culminated about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And we did have letters
Great.
to the State Water Board and to the Coastal Commission, who has also played a significant role in advancing this project. So the letters are on there, to
Great.
Bill Monning, to Mark Stone. So you can go to our website and you can individually, but yes, we will be having other campaigns as the
Good.
future unfolds. So again, Michael, thank you for thanking everybody again, but I think we need to close and we need to get everybody, at the tables. And I'm sorry, there's just,
It's real quick.
okay, Tom, one last thing.
We know that Cal-Am is here to listen to the community and how we might be countering their project. I'm just wondering if they might allow me to attend their next Board of Directors meeting to figure out how they're going to respond to this objection.
You can talk to them afterwards. Okay, thank you all very much for coming. Appreciate it so much. And please go to the,